Well, talking about divisions, if you could give us a little bit more detail in a bit, Anatole, about the dynamics at play that are keeping the Ivory Coast literally cut in half. We'll get more details of that, viewer. But before we get to the heart of what is happening in the current conflict, here's a short video outlining some key issues and potential causes of division.
The question of who is an Ivorian and who has the right to be is at the heart of Ivorian politics. This issue sparked the rebellion in 2003 in this West African nation with a migrant population so large it accounts for more than 1/3 of the country's 17 million inhabitants. About 20% of the population, making up about 3.4 million, consist of workers from neighboring Liberia, Burkina Faso and Guinea. Over 2/3 of these migrant workers are Muslim. The current identity crisis emerged in response to the flood of foreign workers who were invited into Côte d'Ivoire during the 1970s. Residents resented newcomers benefiting from the country's financial boom. Xenophobia was strife when the country's economy declined. In 1995, then-President Henry Konan Bedie used the concept of Ivorite as part of his campaign against Alassane Ouattara. Ouattara, a northerner, was accused of not being truly Ivorian because of his parents' foreign background. Now, the country's division remains, with the government controlling the south of the country, which includes Abidjan and the capital Yamoussoukro, and the rebels controlling the north, an area covering 60% of the country.
Anatole, if I could come to you, are we being a bit simplistic in that video that we put across, you know, the north-south divide? What, from your perspective, are the roots of that divide?
I think the video was a bit simplistic, but then again, if somebody tried to explain the real cause, then it'd probably be a 2 days program. So we try to shorten that.
Yes.
The fact is that talking about division based on segregation in terms of who is and who is not Ivorian, if that has to be a reason, then there has been a coup d'etat in 1999 that overthrew the person that brought the idea of Ivorite.
Okay.
That was President Medier. So he was overthrown. And then we had an election in 2002. So then came Laurent Gbagbo. That is not the originator of this idea. So if anybody wanted to address any issue of division or whatever, then there was a time. And he even organized a forum for reconciliation to discuss all this issue. That's what I said. It was very simplistic, that summary you showed.
So has the issue of an Ivorite being a political problem, has it gone away?
It hasn't gone away, in fact, because when this rebel came and attacked the power of President Gbagbo, it wasn't because they'd been underlooked. It was just overlooked, sorry, but it was just because they wanted to change the nature of the power. And that was then a coup d'etat that failed. When it failed, then they moved back to become rebel and then took where they were as part of this region. But then they have to justify why they were rebel. Initially, it was a coup d'etat to put somebody else in power. Then when they failed, they become rebel and they have to justify, and then they took the same causes that took away Bedie's power as the reason for attacking the newly elected power.
So from your point of view, they're being disingenuous?
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Well, what will it take, from your perspective, Isaac, as a media analyst of this area, to bring those groups together, you know, as Ivorians, once and for all?
Yes, it's about going back to the old Ivorian time, when people were living in harmony, where there was no distinction between a Burkinabe or between a Guinean or a Liberian or a Nigerian, because all those people are a high percentage in Ivorian population. It's about living in harmony, obviously respecting the institutions of the republic. If the law says, for example, that you must not vote because of this and that, you need to put yourself in order, you know, order to be able to take part in the way the republic is being conducted. So it's about being bold enough, being frank enough, look each other into one's eyes and tell the truth, because before we attempt a kind of reconciliation, we have first of all to voice out what our problems were. We have to be frank between each other and tell the truth. Ivorians, I've never seen the people as hospitable as Ivorians. So I've been touring all around the world, but Ivorians they're exceptionally good people. But until you step the mark, I think the mark has been stepped over, and people have to sit down, look each other in the eyes, tell what the truth is, and then what solution can we bring to solve out the problem.
Okay, but it seems that divisions only occur when people are under some level of strife, Anatole. You know, if people are feeling that their area is not being developed for whatever reason, they will find a reason.
That's right.
And so how has development occurred since 2003? You're part of a group that's in coalition with the current administration. What are the plans around equalizing the needs in society that cause so much distress?
Well, you have to look at the government program when President Gbagbo took over. He had a program to regenerate wealth from north to south, to redevelop infrastructure from north to south. So there was no discrimination in any region in terms of his program. But that program never took off because of the rebellion. But you have to also take into account, before he got into power, every international institution was gone away from Côte d'Ivoire. The IMF, everything, every international institution had broken up with Côte d'Ivoire. So the government took the first 18 months in power to restore all this trust. So once it was restored, it was then for him to develop the program, and then came this rebel to stop everything. So in terms of developing the country from north to south, there has been program. There's been there was a program to build the highway from north all the way to Burkina Faso.
So it's all the rebels' fault that things haven't moved forward?
Well, I mean, we would not just condemn although we don't condemn, we would not just condemn the rebel, but we also condemn the oppositions. Because you don't ally with the rebel and then hide behind the rebel to only fight for your causes, because we're talking about after 2003, there's been a government of a union government, whereby you had 2/3 of the government minister that are from the opposition.
Okay, well, do you agree with what you've just heard there, Isaac? It sounds fairly straightforward that the rebels really are at the root cause of why the development that was promised hasn't occurred.
No, I don't. There are some of the things that have been said that are true, but some not always verified. I remember when I was talking to Alpha Blondy one of these days, he said to me,
Alpha Blondy, for people who don't know?
For Alpha Blondy, one of the greatest singers in Africa. I'm not just talking Ivory Coast, but in Africa, even throughout the world, because he's been touring in several cities. People know him very well, and he is also in the know when it comes to Ivorian problem. I remember him saying to me in one of those interviews that if somebody tells you that he has understood what's going on in Ivory Coast, then he has been wrongly explained, he has been badly explained. And then he kept on saying, the more they explain, the less you understand. So there is a massive complexity here when it comes to Ivorian problem. And remember me saying earlier on that I've never seen a coup d'etat somewhere when there is no loser, there is no winner. Because after all, the rebels, they took the northern side of the country, and they've been running it as if it were a state, with their police, with their customs, with the airport and everything. So if the coup failed, what they succeeded is that they succeeded in making a kind of federal state in the Ivory Coast. So I think that we have to look beyond the simple fact that the rebels are the only cause of the situation. We have to look at the root of the problem in Ivory Coast, the unrest of the population due to the inequality of when it comes to the share of
distribution of wealth.
Distribution, thank you.
Yes,
distribution of wealth.